YouTube, welcome to the top 8 grand finale and top deck list of the new pack day release, and we got a doozy for you. Similar to the top 16 where we started off with Ryu-Ge, we're gonna do it again as Nicky Boy is in the top 8, facing off against Kid Art playing Crystron. I'm joking. Crystron and Ryu-Ge in the top 8. 2 new decks, ain't no way. Watch as long as you can. It greatly supports this video. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Special the Terratop, which does not activate from the hand, thus we could not use Max C in response to its summoning. Take Tomborg added, we still didn't Max C. What? They have a negate for Max C and we didn't Max C. Uh-oh. Well, now they're gonna full combo. Okay. Sulfador, pop the inclusion after it searched for the Sulfador. I do want to mention that this is not supposed to be making the Gossip Shadow. So Nicky Boy was thinking, okay, you're gonna go into a Cherubini, because Binny is what you're supposed to do, but not if you already have an opening play. So opening play plus Terratop goes into this instead to protect your opening play. So it's got that dual purpose, meaning that the Terratop is even better than it is. We are able to negate a monster effect, negate anything, pop up to 2 face-up cards on the field. We can Nibiru Tribute off the field. We can go into a Dragster, negate a spell or trap card. We can also Quarion, negate, not negate, but banish up to 3 cards from the field and graveyard that are monsters. It's about 6 forms of disruption, which Maxi was supposed to keep in check. Now, Maxi can maybe trade with the Bamboozling Gossip because they do plan on special summoning quite a bit on our own turn. Let's see what happens. We're gonna Melody discard search our deck for 2 dragons. Chain Maxi. Chain Maxi? No? Okay. Reborn then Synchro, that was a draw 2 off of Maxi. As we search for a Mistva and the Anva. Activate the Mistva. Dragster negating the activation of Mistva. I am not in agreement of doing this. This is not a good idea because the Mistva says you could only use the effect once per turn. It is a spell effect, so you'd then want to read the Dragster. Can Dragster negate a spell effect, or can it only negate the card? If we read it, it does state that it can negate a card or effect. Thus, you want to wait for the hard once per turn effect of searching, because now a second copy of Mistva plays around your Dragster. So from 6 disruption to 5, and we can now just play through it with another Mistva. Gonna set up the Anva first. Now we got the Mistva. Now, the Mistva on Resolution puts itself in the extra deck, so this is an opportunity to Pendulum Summon. We could Pendulum Summon the Anva, which will trigger on summon to destroy any card on the field before we make our main play. Tristaros is gonna go, hail no. Now we're gonna Max C. Okay. And the Gossip Shadow always had the negate on Max C, whether it was on turn 1 or on the next turn. So ensuring that the Gossip Shadow negates on your turn is better than their turn because we're both gonna draw a card. We don't want them to draw an additional play. What? They just drew into their own Max C. Oh no. Well, we have Ash for their Max C. That's interesting. We draw Ash, they draw Max C. We went into a level 7, so we didn't go into a form of disruption here. So what do we have left? We have the Cluster, which is gonna pop 2 cards in the field. We have a negate with the Infinity. We have the Nibiru. So we're at triple disruption. 1, 2, 3. Pop 2, goodbye. Anvil will trigger to put a continuous trap, which could pop a monster on the field. We're going to attempt to pop the Infinity. Infinity will negate. We have just Nibiru, right? Nibiru is our final play. Now, somehow I'm shocked that we could still make an amazing play because we have not allowed Mistva, not once but twice, to activate. So the Ryu-Ge Rising could grab Mistva for the 3rd freaking time, activate it, grab the field spell, and make an incredible play here. We are not done. Ryu-Ge End is going to set the Rivalry, which will be usable during the next turn to pop a card in the field, rising into the 3rd copy of Mistva. Set up the Anva and the Mistva, and now you're going to see essentially what it looks like for Branded Fusion to be resolving in this deck, and they have no way to stop it. This is going to search, send, and banish 3 cards, and then we're going to summon 3 cards onto the field. This is what you'd want to Ash, stop, negate, whatever you can. But the Amba also states that if your opponent responds to the activation of a spell card, you can negate that activation. So we kind of had protection even through all of that. Absolute insanity that we even got to this point to be able to make this play. Anva on summon, pop away the level 7 Synchro. Mistva triggers off of a monster being destroyed to summon itself onto the field by tributing a level 10, and then we'll set up to 2 continuous spells from the deck onto the field, giving you even more power. Crystron level 7, when destroyed, is going to be reborning a Crystron. We're going to summon the Sulfaneer onto the field. It's not a form of disruption. Mistva, you got to remember that Nibiru's counting up the summons. Now, what did we just accomplish right now? We have a monster negate, but only negating a monster on the field, thus the Nibiru will not be negated. We also have this effect where only during the opponent's turn, cards on the field sent to the grave that are monsters will be banished instead. And yeah, we don't have the bounce back effect. We have instead the floodgate-like effect, and we're gonna max C. We're gonna chain Ash to negate that max C. Not today. We can negate Nibiru if we go straight into a Varudras. No summoning restrictions in sight stopping us from going into that Varudras. A mistake would be to summon Kaiva as our 5th summon, then we get tributed before the Varudras comes out. That's happening. Shite. No! Varudras, then summon Kaiva! Aw, damn! Now, Kaiva had a nuke-like effect. It said, you would place the Dino Domains on the field to the bottom of the deck, then target other cards on the field up to the number of different monster types on the field, destroy them, aka, I think destroy the entire field with the protection of Varudras and then attack for game. Did we or did we not have game? Yeah, I think we did. Emva, Reborn, big enough to take out the Nibiru. Now, if you don't have a Pendulum, you don't gain the effects of the continuous spells unless you are the monster on the art. This is the dinosaur, this is the green thing. So the Emva has no effect, where if we had the Emva continuous spell, it would give us the ability to be able to bounce a card in the field back to the hand. Now, does that mean we don't have the way to negate a monster effect? We do, through the Trap. The Trap could summon an Emva, which could pop a card on the field, then negate a monster effect, and any card sent from their field to the grave that is a monster will be banished. So we're kind of in a decent spot, actually, where we can make some plays. Kind of. We're waiting with Rivalry to pop. We're waiting. When do we want to get popping? Sulfaneer, summon, pop itself here. Mistva is going to come forth. We're going to pop the Worm Wind, so our monsters are no longer getting banished. We're going to chain Rivalry to summon, then pop a card on the field. Did we not have another Anva? Oh, crap. Anva has to be summoned from the deck here, or the grave, and all 3 are in the extra deck, so the on-summon pop, we don't even have it. But we still have 2 forms of disruption here through the Mistva. The Mistva is going to be able to negate a monster or bounce a monster back to the hand, or bounce anything, that is. So we now have this additional effect which states you're going to be targeting any card in the field and returning it back to the hand, plus negate a monster smaller than 38 on the field. Double disrupt. Also, Ryu-Ge can't be destroyed by battle, and the Ryu-Ges are boosted by 300. Okay, when do we negate? Can't negate Engrave. It has to be a monster effect on the field to negate. We can negate that. Yep. Activate to negate. Just negate it. Does it destroy and negate, or just negate? Looks like we just negate. Droplet Mate is going to negate the negate. No! Negate. And now we get banished. Triple monster ban. Did Ryu-Ge put up a good fight or not? I think that was incredible. Good showcase from Nicky Boy. Playing through a ton of disruption. We almost had lethal. The Rivalry is just going to draw a card here. We could draw into, what, is this even like Nibiruable right now? Do we have Nibiru? Nope, Super Poly. And let's destroy. We're destroying it through our own card effect here. We did that on purpose. Quarion, when destroyed, it's going to steal a monster. The monster we're trying to steal is actually going to chain summon itself onto the field here with no effect. It's just effectless. And can't be destroyed by battle. Okay, Ryu-Ge cannot be destroyed. We're in it for another duel. Another turn, that is. We're not done. Now, how many forms of disruption does Kid Art have? We have Cluster, And we have Cluster. We just have Cluster. We have Pop, 2 cards on the field as our only form of disruption. I believe the Melody is 100% dead, right? All of our monsters we could search are in the extra deck or in the graveyard. The Mistvas, is there a Mistva in the deck somewhere? I think there's still a Mistva, but this has to search, could search her up for 2. But we're gonna Super Poly discard it. Use with 2 bodies on the field to come forth and summon the Garura. Can we put our own Garura in grave if we swung in and we could have killed it to draw a card if we wanted to? Mistva trigger. Come forth and summon in the freaking damage step, mate. Ain't no way. Now, with the Sea Spires, this can essentially negate the Cluster from popping cards in the field by chaining to it, trying to pop to then spin it back to the hand instead. Woo! And we pop Garura to draw a card. We have a monster negate and a spin back mate. Spin it to win it. Huh? Why didn't you spin? Return the targeted card in the field, return to the hand. Am I missing something on why? Is the time low? I gotta snooze the ad real quick, sorry about that. We had a stop on this. We could have stopped it. We had an out. It had to be time? What do you mean opponent's turn? Oh, opponent's turn to use the effect. It's not during, oh, shite. This is not the opponent's turn, but this one is. Damn. Sorry, Timmy, for who I cheated at locals. My B. Well, your cards on the field that are monsters being sent to the grave will be banished instead. Yup. Banished. You're banished. Self-Veneer banished. Let's pop that card that's banishing me, because that's quite annoying. And the Mistva would only trigger if a monster destroyed, and the Mistva has to tribute a level 10 to even summon. We saw a lot of Ryu-Ge in this duel, and it was great. I think so, mate. You know, sometimes a loss is still a win in my eyes, and in my heart, Ryu-Ge did win this duel. What? That thing has an animation. The start damage step, gain 200, 2 attacks in the battle phase. You freaking what, mate? Lethal damage. Why does that have an animation, Konami? All right. Let's hop into game 2. Bait. Baiting. You're getting baited. Do not negate that. You have to negate this. You have to. Straight up, 100%. And now we have kind of 2 floodgates here. Any monster sent from the field to the grave during the opponent's turn will be banished. There can only be 1 machine on the field as a Crystron deck. We also have Ash Blossom. Okay. We're gonna flip up. There can be only 1 right away. Why would you do this? Well, a good idea to do against Crystron when you know they're playing the new level 2 tuner, which if they shotgun normal summon this onto the field, you flip up there can only be 1. This will then chain to there can only be 1 to summon for the deck, then synchro before this even resolves. Then you're poking you with the big body, which you don't want to be dealing with. So good idea, early flip. This will still go to the graveyard because it's not a monster. Summon the Sulfador, can only have 1 machine. We did not ash the effect to send 2 cards in the deck to the grave. We are ashing the Smiger because it's searching for the Crystron cluster, which will pop the there can be only 1. Crap. We got cross-out designated. That's a problem. So they now have the direct out for our floodgate, which we are so immensely dependent on. They got the cluster. Hakva, trigger, reborn itself onto the field off of a card being banished, and there's at least 2 other monsters. We're going to be searching for the Tristaros, which we can't make a plays with, of course, as there can only be only 1. The Emva is trash. Hakva is going to be doing what is that effect? You could place the Worm Winds to the bottom of the deck, add a Ryu-Ge card from your deck, graveyard or banishment to your hand, imperm negate. Shite. That would have been a way to turn on the whole deck. Mistva, activate, put itself in the extra deck, field spell. Emva is not really doing anything anyway. The Sea Spires would have been dead, so it just kind of ate their finger, sure. Negate. And then the real problem is the cluster on our floodgates. We're not going to be using cluster to take out the Hakva. We're just going to save the cluster for the there could be only one. This is a continuous trap anyway. It would be retained on the field to be usable again during the very next turn to then be used on the trap, as we could have just taken out both cards here. And let's now speed this up. Inclusion, grab this Fern, pop the Inclusion with the Sulfador, Reborn from Engrave, activate, send 2 cards in the deck to the grave here. Discard this Fern, Reborn Sulfaneer, pop Sulfaneer, activate, summon from the deck here, another Sulfaneer, go into the Cyber Dragon Nova, into Cyber Dragon Infinity, could suck up the Hakva, it is now mine, boost by plus 200, normal summon the Tristaros, banish Inclusion, Reborn Sulfaneer, come forth into level 7 Crystron here. We're going to add back the Smiger with the effect of level 7 Synchro, pop it, summon 2 bodies on the deck, then activate to summon another body onto the field. 9,400 damage here, and you bet none of them have an attack restriction. Lethal damage 2-0 against Ryu-Ge. No hand traps for Blue Eyes. Triple Barrel is probably not very good here. It's a lot of disruption, but my critique on this field is that it's all bodies on the field without it, instead of being layered disruption. We don't have disruption in the back row or in the graveyard. We naturally just have an Ash Blossom here. So if this were to ever pop off and become the most dominant deck, I would expect people to maybe be putting in Dark Ruler no more. Now, they do have some back, they could have the cross thing, the cross trap in the back row potentially. Maybe they'd start going towards that line more so than not, instead of just searching for a starter with the Jet to then, you know, have a more layered form of disruption here. But enough of that, let's just talk about our disruptions exactly. Do we have red in the graveyard? We do not. So we have Masquerena double banish with the Little Knight play. We have Sprint on summon to return a monster back by detaching off Gigantic Spright. We have 2 special summon negates off of the Wave King Caesar. We have Carrot negate a spell or trap. We have Ash negate an interaction with the deck. 7 disruption. Good luck. Fairy Map is now not activatable. We lost Sprint unless we just reborn it back with the Spright Elf, but there has to be a body on the field to do so. Normal summon Barrel set into the back row, not negatable with Ash. We can now Elf, reborn Jets. We lost the Sprint disruption. Jet searching for a starter for the next turn. Masquerena, Little Knighted up. On summon, banish away a card on the field or grave. Say goodbye to the Barrel. With 4 disruptions left, we are scooping. Could not play through it all. We had a lot of bricks. We had 2 dead Sage because we couldn't additional summon it. 2 dead Barrels. A dead Reese map we didn't even activate. It was just going to be too redundant, right? We already have a Sage in hand. And in fact, it would just telegraph that we have Sage in hand, making it an even higher priority for the opponent to make a Little Knight to banish our monster, which we didn't want to tell our opponent to do so. Giving them too much information is sometimes not a good idea, where instead just let the card be a brick. What do we have here? We have Barrel on summon set from the deck. Nothing as the impermanence negates. We still have Ash and Droll for any further plays here. If they want to go into the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, this could at least eat a Droll. They add the Mausoleum, good opportunity to Droll them. So if they normal summon an additional Sage, they now cannot search for a Maiden. Now, we know that they know there's no way to go into that Maiden. We reborn the Blue Eyes White Dragon with our Spirit Link and the turn here. Magna Hut, banish away the Spirit Link. And here's a great example on our main play being disrupted. And instead of ending on no disruptions, we have still a Droll, an Ash, and Nibiru. This is the importance of playing a ton of non-engine hand traps and or board breakers so that you don't get completely clapped up by a Maxi, a Full Loss, or a well-timed hand trap stopping you. Magna Hut. What? Oh, you summon Magna Hut to search, but we're under the effect of Droll, so you search for nothing. Spright starter, summon from the deck. It can be very difficult to know when and what we should disrupt. Well, the problem is by not ashing the starter, they could now, if blue gets negated, we could go Elf, Reborn Blue, Gigantic Spright, summon for the deck. So you almost have to pretty much be forcibly negating the first search they do, just for the chance that it maybe wins the duel. Instead, we're going more for the Droll. Droll is our play. We're going to sprint, send Angler. Negate Angler from summoning 2 Beavers could be pretty good. Well, we didn't do that. Negate Gigantic Spright, I guess it's still 3,200, and we still have other bodies in the field. Negate Gigantic Spright, which by negating Gigantic Spright, it ensures, by holding the Ash for that specifically, that we now have protection for our Nibiru. We're not going to be locked out of using Nibiru. We can Nibiru, but can we? There's a red on the field to negate Nibiru. Oh, yeah, we can Nibiru. Okay, so Gigantic Spright summons nothing. If we Nibiru chain right now, it has to be now, or he's going to summon from the deck. There you go. Only on the resolution of the effect of the Gigantic Spright would we be able to, after detaching, to summon from the deck. Nothing gets summoned here. Otherwise, in the lower chain link here, if Gigantic Spright were to then summon from the deck, that'd be very bad. We're going to normal summon the Ash, go into a Nightmare Phoenix, set the starter. So when we summon a carrot from the deck, we can... Nope, no carrot for you. We would be able to negate something like, let's say, a Lordy Load, or at least eat up their battle phase. Oh boy. We have Barrel adding back to the hand here. Let's just scoop it up. Scoop it. It's very important to use your hand traps differently when you have more than one of them in your hand. You can... And if you're watching someone with multiple hand traps, use their hand traps based off of multiple hand traps, you will be shown plays that you should probably not do if you only had one of those hand traps. If you have an Imperm plus an Ash or an Imperm plus Nibiru, you're going to be using them differently to especially protect a card like Nibiru to get more value out of it to completely nuke the field. Or you'd also may be more likely to negate a normal summon Sage, especially if you have double Imperm. What are you going to use your double Imperm on? Of course, use it on the first Sage, then use it again on the Spirit Link. We have Maxi, and if they're playing more than 40 cards, their chances of negating or stopping the Maxi are much less likely, right? They're going to have less of a chance to draw into the Ash, the Cross Out, the Called By, and let's see what we do against Maxi. Mind you, if Millennium, if these were just 2 additional hand traps and we were to get Maxied on normal summon Beaver, we'd have a bunch of hand traps to keep the opponent at bay after just passing against a Maxi. Normal summon. We didn't even activate Beaver. We just special summoned Red. When? Well, we now can't Red. We tricked them. Ovidiuk, how did you do this? A normal Beaver, if I activate Beaver, they're going to chain Max C, and then I lose. But if I normal Beaver and don't activate it, maybe they won't Max C, as I special summon a Red to now negate Max C, because it doesn't activate the special summon. So Ovidiuk looked at his hand, he's like, wow, this folds, this surrenders, this scoops to a Max C right away. So let's try to trick them, and it worked. How did that work? We can now go into full Fiendsmith without fear of Max C. I am shocked. That actually worked. Reborn the Maxi now, you know, we're under Droll. So, yeah. Don't do that. Do not do that. All right. What do we have? We have Red negate a monster effect. Do we have anything rebornable? Can the Elf reborn something that could disrupt? No. The Sprint's not really a disruption unless we detach off of the Wave King Caesar. So the Wave King is double disruption plus the Red negate. We don't have a Masquerena play, unfortunately. So we also have Baldrake, which can banish and then banish a monster from the extra deck. The ceiling is kind of 5 disruptions here. What is the Baldrake even tributing to banish? We have to reborn, I guess, a Gigantic Spright or Sequence to even make use of the Baldrake. Max C in the standby phase. Red, negate. Sure. So I do plan on Elfin and Baldraken. Maiden of White, which would have been the more ideal negate with our Red if it weren't for the Max C. Setting up the Wishes, Wishes discard Blue Eyes, come to us. Majesty plus our Sage with Eyes of Blue. Sage will be searching our deck for a Veiler. We already have 2 Disruption for the next turn ready. We're now going to Ball Drake preemptively, banish away the Maiden. Sprint is detaching off the Wave King Caesar instead of using the special summon negate. So we have 1 less now, mates. Reborn the sequence to ensure the Ball Drake's going to have a form of disruption. Let's spin back the blue before they go into a Spirit Link. Now we're going to send the Magna Hunt to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck, but the Wave King Caesar will negate. Now what are we left with? We have the effect of Ball Drake to banish a monster summoned from the extra deck as our last form of disruption. Let's wipe away the Sprite's Elf. And this gets banished if we want to, right? Yeah, I would think you'd want to do that. Banish it away. And now we got nada. So we have to play through a Majesty, non-target popping 1 card in the field, Veiler negate a monster, Ash negate an interaction with the deck, but red can negate the Veiler or Ash unless the Majesty wipes it out early. This is a situation. What do? Jet on summon, Ash the Jet. If the red negates, it could tribute off the Jet to also dodge the Veiler. But then you could Veiler the red. We're going to make a Nightmare Phoenix, forcing out the use of Majesty or pop in the True Light. We're going to Veiler negate the Phoenix, which the red can negate. Yup, we are negating. You are going to lose your True Light. True Light is going to set a spell trap to be used on the very next turn. The correct play to make here, as the True Light will wipe away any monsters that were to be summoned. We still have Majesty. Pop 1. We need to pop at the most ideal moment. If this weren't a Fiendsmith variant, we could wait for Gigantic Spright activating to pop it, and then it would summon nothing. Little Knight is going to take out the No, it's not even going for Majesty. It's going to banish the Blue Eyes, which also turns off the Majesty. 2 ways to turn off Majesty, and this is the smarter way. Nicely done. We need that Blue Eyes. Goodbye to Little Knight. Little Knight's not going to chain banish because we want to make plays with our current field. We know exactly what that card is. We know nothing in the graveyard's activatable. So we have full uninterrupted plays. We grinded through Majesty, grinded through Veiler, grinded through their Ash, and now we get to go all in. And that was all in. 1 negate. Great. Good job. Okay. Yeah. Did we already jet this turn, I guess? Damn, we really went all in. Okay, we can negate the Roar. Roar, activate, negate. Got him. And now you have a Nibiru dead. You have nothing activatable in graveyard that could do anything. Well, can we just go for game? Can you imagine he summons 5 bodies under Nibiru before activating Gigantic Spright, then gets wiped? I can't imagine that. It's not going to happen. We're going to summon a blue from the deck. Nibiru is now turned off. Is not activatable. On the resolution, we just scoop it up. 2-1 victory. Spright taking out Blue Eyes. Thank you to both of you. Playing well. Let's keep on going. I want my opponent to make plays into me countering those plays. We got the Tristaros waiting for them to activate anything, but little do we know that they likely don't play any hand traps whatsoever beyond Max C is what we saw earlier. And this may also sound weird, but Solemn Strike is a great turn 2 card. How can a trap ever be good going second unless it's activated in the hand? Well, if you set it, whatever they have already on their field, the Solemn Strike is going to negate it. They have a Baron to Floor. The Baron to Floor negates something else. Solemn Strike negates the Baron to Floor. So while we have 2 negates for the simultaneous equation, the Solemn Strike will just negate one of them. The other one cannot negate the Solemn Strike because it's a counter trapping a spell speed 3 when we're only spell speed 2. And a problem with the cluster is target face up cards. Face down back row, the cluster's not going to help us. Now, something's going to be quite crazy with this. This states that during the opponent's main phase, you could synchro summon using this card. Do we play a card that could pop face down cards? Because we desperately need it. Synchro pop face down, we don't. Uh-oh. Set 4 pass. It's going to be all about the equation cannon. So can we calculate this right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 cards, but it's actually going to be 15 cards when the Solemn Strike negates and destroys. So it has to be 15. Does 15 work? 15, and we're probably getting rid of the level 7, so the 15 has to, so it's like a 5, 5, 5, that doesn't work. A 6, 6, and 3, that doesn't work, right? Chat, help me out. What the heck? 7, 7, 1. Oh, chat's good. What do you have, calculators on you? Is there a trick to find it out quickly, or are you all just smart? Wait, we just changed. Now it's 16. It's 16 now. It's 17 on the both hands and fields, but it's going to become 16. You got to redo the math. Redo the math. Okay, it's back to 15. It's back to 16. All right. 16. It's now 15. 15. It's now 14. It's 14. Make 14 work. All right. Solemn Strike, negate, and destroy. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. Field spell. 14. Is this a full field banish? 6, 6, 2. Oh, shite. No. Banish the entire field. Damn. Now, the question is, what did we do wrong? I think we probably should have linked off the zombie vampire as soon as possible into like a Little Knight, right? Do you agree with that? And then if the equation cannon, you could possibly chain Little Knight to it, banish another big monster you may have, but then they have the Solemn Strike to negate Little Knight, or you're trying to negate it and then they Solemn Strike you anyway. I think we had to get rid of zombie vampire. It was a big body. If there's a lot of cards, avoid having high level or high rank. All right. We have Imperm to negate the Unending Nightmare. Tristaros is not like Citri, where Citri's activatable whenever the opponent has to activate something to even use the Tristaros. As we also take out the Smyger. Did we lose anything permanently? The Cluster could be added back with the level 7 Synchro. That's not too big of a deal here. We have the Lady Labyrinth chaining to the Imperm as the Lovely tries to recycle a trap engrave, being the trap trick. We now have the Ice Dragon Prison, which could banish a card from engrave and a card on the field. Oh boy. Smyger's going to banish as a cost, thus dodging the Dragon Ice Prison. Inclusion's going to be searching our deck here. Unending Nightmare. It's like you're side decking against him. What the... You tell me why you're playing this card today. Is it because of Crystron? What the... We're going to Thisfer and grab a Smyger, Sulfaneer, discard the Turtle, reborn itself, pop itself, activate summon from the deck into a Sulfador. Sulfador didn't even activate because I think we're out of cards to send from the deck to the grave. We're going to Dragon Ice Prison on the Inclusion, activating to reborn the Tristaros. Now, Tristaros is a machine, Sulfador's a machine. Both of them get banished, and I think we scoop. It's over. And then they're going to set a trap. Every turn, they're going to set a trap with Lady, recycle a trap with Lovely, and they're going to pop a card from your hand here also after banishing Tristaros and Sulfador. Let's trigger the Lovely Labyrinth, say goodbye to Ash or Smyger. The point of no return. Just surrender. Yep. It all came down to the equation cannons. Now, we know they're playing equation cannons because we saw them in a previous duel. To be fair, Ricky should not know that they're playing it, right? I mean, maybe he could kind of suspect it, but now we can maybe better play around it in game 2 and 3. Let's go. Milling against Labyrinth. That could help them get the big welcome in the graveyard to potentially make it activatable right away with the Lady. That could, be alongside it potentially. It's not going to be triggering the Lady or being able to chain Lady to it. Let's come forth into the Doom Dragon. Zombie Vampire. It all comes down to this random mill of 4 cards that we now got negated. Shoot. This is if we're another degenerate deck, we then go into Fiendsmith plays. Now, thankfully, Crystron doesn't have room for that nonsense. Lady is here. Rivalry, Floodgate. Now we may just win off a rivalry. Big welcome. Different dimension ground also being settable with our Lady Labyrinth. Not big enough to, I mean, we get a suicide into the zombie vampire, right? This cannot be destroyed by card effects only. It could still be destroyed by battle. Thus, we would not want to swing into it. We do have Droplet ready to either chain link block or just negate. Now, the impulse will negate the vampire and it will destroy it. That's a big problem. And even if we chain Droplet to the impulse, it still negates it. We can't dodge the impulse. We could dodge an impermanence. Right away, we are not wasting time. Now, we could change the equation to -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So Ricky has to now whip out his own calculator and think, okay, it must be working at 12, but does this also work at 11? Or maybe they're calculating 13 because Lady could chain to the simultaneous equation. So did they activate this for 13, 12, or 11? Does it work at all three? Someone saying 444 is 12. Use Droplet. Okay, what about 11? If I chain Droplet to send Zombie Vampire, does it work at 11? 551, 4, 4, 3. That doesn't. 11 stops it completely because they don't have a monster on the field. They just don't get banished. So its main purpose is it's getting rid of the Zombie Vampire no matter what. Yeah, we don't have a... Wait. We kept Zombie Vampire. Okay, does 11 work? I don't think 11 works. We still have a monster. 11. That's a 3 and a 5. No, it's a 3, 3, 5. What the? Bunnies! Chat, you're supposed to calculate quicker. Chat said 3, 3, 5. I'm sure it's a lot. Yes, I think some people said it before it happened. Ash, negate the big welcome, which also channeling blocks the Lady. Holy moly. How nasty. We still have Rivalry, which could just straight up win the entire game. Oh, not really, though. Locking them into machine-type monsters is not a big deal. If they somehow get a non-machine on the field, that's when we're going to do it. Sulfador being discarded for Sulfaneer, going to be negated by the Impulse here. Also destroying the Sulfaneer in hand. Also chaining Lady to set a trap trick from the deck. And engraved, do we have anything activatable? No. Nothing. Damn. Sulfador could have been the follow-up play if the Nibiru were just anything, a Crystron name on the field. Sulfador, activate, pop it, summon, mill 2, pop off from there, and the Rivalry would not be stopping any of the plays. Damn. Simultaneous equation cannon. So Ricky should rest easy knowing that they were going to be able to banish your full field at 12 or 11. So it didn't really matter. The only play was what? Droplets, send your own Zombie Vampire. You're losing your whole field. I mean, you're losing your main play you wanted to protect anyway, right? And we'll ×2 this whole match. No matter what happens, just ×2. It's a little bit different than I expected. We know Promethean Princess and Graveyard. We have triple monster negate plus a banish with Little Knight, a negate with impermanence, a negate with the Veiler, and an Ash Blossom negate. 7 disruption. We were under Droll, that's why, right? We drolled them? Yeah, we drolled. Okay, yeah, nice. Good job. 7 disrupt under a Droll. Fenrir is here, completely wiping away the Apollo USA. Now we're down to 4 disruption from 7. Ash negates, attempting to negate the Wanted Seeker. We're going to Call by the Grave, finger their Ash. Negate. Diablo Star will be coming to me. Now, with the banish effect of Little Knight, and we also have 2 monster negates, very likely negating this. Yes. We didn't even activate because we didn't want to get negated, banished that is. We're also main phase 2, so we couldn't just go to battle. But by activating this, you need to tribute a monster to search your deck, and if you activate that, will then allow us to activate the Little Knight to banish your only card that you could tribute to search. So it's the obvious play. Banish away the only card you could tribute, even under Droll. Early Droll into 7 disruption. We drolled their very first play. Summon the Unicorn. Is now a time to be playing Kashtira or what? Got Birth backed up by the Unicorn. Oh, I promised ×2, my bad. Deception, tribute off Unicorn, search for the Hallowed Azimina. We have to play through an Imperm, which will be very easily done. Imperm does not turn on triple tactics talent. We can just cross out Designate, banish away Imperm and the Imperm column mate, and thank you for knowing that you're getting first turn killed. We got Droll. Well, we game 1 drolled early, this exact play even, and they were still able to set up 7 forms of disruption. Are we watching the same duel, or all these duels look the same? I don't even know now. Hopefully this is a different duel. Summon, equip, send, summon, can't search. Do you not think it's insane that you got drolled and he's like, nah, I'm not gonna finger your droll, it's not even worth it. That's how bad your droll was against me. We're going to Lacrima, burn for 12, reborn the Engraver, and it definitely is a different duel. We have triple monster negate, call by the grave to finger your ash if you try to negate my max C, or we also have the Apollo for it. We unfortunately don't have a counter for your finger on the max C, but you don't have it. So triple, quadra, 5 forms of disrupt. Can we play through it and under max C? Special the Unicorn. Look at the extra deck, negate that look. We also drew into a droll, so we could droll. We don't want to droll ourselves, so we're probably not going to be drolling. I'm just going to, still about, we lost our Apollo, so we're now down to just the called by and the Ash. Divine Temple into the back row. Let's now make a Masquerena under the max C. Kashtira Birth, reborn under max C. So I do want to say that under the effect of max C, I think it is good to commit to a Masquerena with Divine Temple with the Flamebirds in the back row. That's going to be able to summon the Flamebirds if they summon a monster in any way whatsoever. We could then link off with the Flamebirds and the Masquerena, reborn a bunch of bodies, and we possibly even go into an Apollo USA here. It's good. It's worth. This is them likely saying they want to go to the battle phase. We didn't have enough level 1 fires to even trigger the Flamebirds. Also, they didn't normal summon, and it is ideal that you're making that Masquerena play on your very first turn where they don't already have a body on the field so that you definitively trigger that Divine Temple play. Divine Temple, come forth and summon. As the Diablo Star is setting up into the back row, all we have is Little Knight. What? All we have is Little Knight. You failed your connection. You were going to win that. That was a win. 100% win on that turn even. Well, okay, Snake Eye Fiendsmith still advances anyway. All right. Start off with the Tristalos, which is good to shotgun out on the field since it could respond to the opponent activating anything to then summon from the deck and then synchro. In response to the max C, we could do exactly that, which would be a draw 2 under the max C. This is where you would bait them with max C. They activate this, then you chain a Fualos. Now, they're not forced to summon. It's optional, so you just draw 1 under Fualos potentially. You have the Dragster ready to negate the Trap Trick or the Simultaneous Equation Cannon, but they have Imperm to stop the Dragster negate. They also have the Daruma to stop the negate. But with everything face down, they would not be able to use the Simultaneous Equation because there needs to be a face-up monster on the opposing side to even be able to banish their field. Now, the Cluster is not that amazing against back row here because it cannot target a face down. It can target anything on the field, but it has to be a face-up, and we can target up to 2. With our Disruption here, we have Negate a Spell and Trap, pop up to 2 cards. We could go into Aquarion, which unfortunately only banishes monsters and not back row. Set 5. Oh, Jesus. Oh, boy. Inclusion activates searching for a Smiger. Normal summon this turn. Let's go into the Excel Synchron. Excel Synchron and Sulfador into a Baron de Flor. Imperm trades with it. Daruma is going to force the activation of the Dragster. As we Daruma again, Baron of Four's like, nah, okay, all right. Now, the Dragster could flip right back up, but it is a, whoa, it could activate again. That's crazy. Flip up Dragster, and we get a second negate. Whoop, all right, ready to negate again. Let's banish this Fern, grab a Smiger. So we're gonna have to imperm negate the Dragster, negating something else. That was a really good value for Kid Art. I think so, that worked out incredibly well. We're gonna Inclusion, Reborn the Tristaros. We're gonna discard Smiger, Reborn the Sulfaneer, pop itself here, summon from the deck. As we now get ready. As soon as we go into the Infinity, we have that negate right away, mate. So this is when we want to start activating other cards before they can negate. Dragster is activatable as we negate the Welcome Labyrinth. As we imperm, negate the negate. Tristaros can dodge the negate potentially, can it? It's going to summon from the deck. You have to synchro summon using using monsters you control, including that monster. So if we summon a level 2 tuner, that level 2 tuner in Dragster could go into a level 9 to... Wait, doesn't this have to reduce to even negate? You have to reduce the level by 2. Only then do you are able to negate. So we can't dodge the impermanence. We're not going to be able to negate the Welcome Labyrinth no matter what. Sam D. D it up. Negate the Dragster. Welcome Labyrinth. Summon from the deck. We summon in attack position. We could give her the good suck. Yup. Infinity could suck her up. Or can we? We're going to be setting up the simultaneous equation cannon. Now, this could get quite hairy here. If we banish the entire field, that will trigger the SAMD to reborn a monster in grave. Now, let's talk about the math. 1, 2. Oh, we have to wait for the trap trick to resolve. Okay, it's now activating. What do we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, you may think it's up to the opponent to do the math. That's incorrect. You have to do the math yourself because you could change the math. It's 13 right now, but with the cluster, you could make it 12. And you have to know if making it 12 would make it worse or better, because you have to know that just because they're activating this card, it does not mean that they can currently banish your field. But if you flip up Cluster and Pop, you may now be enabling a card that probably could not have banished the field. You also, another thing to consider is Cluster, can it pop your own card? Yes, it can. And this only works on the opponent's cards. So if their simultaneous only works on a level 5 right now, you'd want to pop the level 5 while also considering that the level 5 also would not be on the field, and that would be the equation for 12 and not 13. This would immediately cause a timeout possibly in game if we were to properly calculate this, right? You tell me. Lovely can't chain. What are you talking about? Your opponent cannot activate monster effects, and the cluster is a trap effect. So anyway, 13 to 12. What's the play if it's 13? What's the play if it's 12? What should we cluster pop here? Imperm column, that is the reality. Well, I guess we're pretty much screwed. But if we were to pretend that Imperm was not actually negating the cluster right now, what is 13 doing? 5, 5, 3 is a level 8 on the field. 6, 6, 1 is a level 7. There you go. All right, 6, 6, 6, 6, 1. Chat saw it, yep, 6, 6, 1. And that's exactly what we did. 6, 6, 1, level 7, and that means the entire field gets banished. Only the opponent's cards, that is. Bunish. CMD, Reborn, trigger the lovely, pop a card from the hand, which is disgusting. What the heck? Pop the Inclusion. Inclusion could reborn a monster in grave. I think we already activated that effect, though. We had to pass. What the? Take out the Tristaros before activating anything. Lovely. Set the Daruma. I'm not going to pause the duel for this, but if Cluster were activatable, could we have outed the simultaneous by popping our own card potentially? The thing is, we had 2 level 7s. We're going to Inclusion, banish, reborn the Tristaros. Sulfaneer, discard Smiger to reborn here. We're going to just grab the Sulfaneer trying to reborn, to then summon it on our field, banish it, and the Tristaros. This is a card I would side deck in against Crystron. So the fact that we are main decking this and clapping them up, holy moly. That is so dirty. His whole main deck is a side deck. He also has different dimension ground, forcing any monster sent to the grave being banished instead. Inclusion, Sulfador, pop inclusion, summon itself from the field, activate to send 2 cards from the deck to the grave. Imperm is the way. This is totally an Imperm or Veiler. Now, when it comes to Ash, you could argue that Ash could possibly be better used on the level 2 tuner pop in the synchro, but even Ashing this could also be good. Counting up disruptions against a trap deck is not worth it. Now, while this is revealed, the back row, all set cards on the field cannot be destroyed no matter what. We have Gozen, freaking match. Each player can only control 1 attribute of monster. Is Crystron mostly water? I don't even freaking know, mate. And we have Ice Dragon Prison to steal a machine out of the grave, then banish a machine. Gozen match, get rid of that wind. You can only control water here. Start poking them to death with our 1900. Trap Trick, banish from the deck, a big welcome. This is why we don't want to summon the Lord of Heavenly Prison, even though, I mean, we could summon it, right? Summon a dark monster. Maxi in response, we're going to chain to the Maxi to come forth and summon. This is triggered off of, so this is not a quick effect, but it is triggered off of the Trap Trick and not the big welcome. So within the same window of the... What I'm trying to say is we kind of got outplayed in a way where in response to Big Welcome, we would have activated Lord of Heavenly Prison, very likely, and we could have used Maxi to draw 2. Now we're drawing just 1, and the Lord was public knowledge. Lord is here. Come forth Lovely, return back the Lord, trigger the Lovely, and get poppin'. Imperm, negate. Just not popping, mate, but she's still going to be able to recycle a card during the very next turn. Why don't people play Crystron Phoenix? We'll look at the deck list later to see what's going on here. Pot of Duality, get digging. Dig for a card at the top of the deck. There is the Equation Cannon, which we don't even want. We don't even need it. Our main win condition. Forbidden Droplet. Negate the Lovely. Wada. Kid Art. Can we win this? Oh no. You would think that, you know, in a tournament with no side deck, this is defaulted to be one of the best decks because you can't counter their floodgates, but then why isn't that logic carrying over into the ladder where it's best of 1 with no side deck there also? So what the heck? He's taking advantage of something happening. And what's happening is I was happy about this happening. Now it's a bad thing that's happening, and it's all about the drill beam usage going down. I told you before drill beam coming out that floodgates were going to die. They were dead. Drill beam's coming. It's going to save us all from a nasty meta. But now that Blue Eyes has been hit, this was drill beam already going down from the release of Lacrima Crimson Tier. And now that Blue Eyes is semi-limited on Sage and Maiden, this is going to go down even further, possibly down to 15, maybe 10%. I mean, it is Blue Eyes. It's an anime deck. So your floodgates are now safe to whip out again, especially this deck. Sulfador, pop Sulfador, big welcome, spin it back so you are popping nothing. And then trigger Lovely to pop a card from the hand. This feels so dirty. Cluster deals with the floodgate, not anymore. Oh no. Well, yeah, okay, we're not trolling. We're triggering the Lord of the Heavenly Prison. All right, chill, it's not BM. Let's set from the deck a Welcome Labyrinth here. Yep, floodgaters are back. Flip up the Welcome Labyrinth. So I want you all to apologize to Blue Eyes if you talked any crap towards them that you didn't actually know that they were saving you from a worse meta. Blue Eyes generally have quick turn 1s, then playing Drill Beam stops floodgate shenanigans, and now it's all about to come to an end. 2-0 victory. Begin. Wanted Seeker in the draw phase, play around a Droll and Lockbird. Discard the Flame Burge. We have Ash and Veiler. We're not going to Veiler negate the Diablo Star, setting up a Deception Sinful. Deception Sinful, we're going to be ashing that effect here. Now, remember I said using your hand traps differently, depending on having multiple hand traps or more than one. Many people would use Valor on Diabolostar if we didn't have Ash to stop whatever Diabolostar were to be setting. How can we play through this? What are we playing through? Imperm, negate a monster. Masquerena summon to the Flameburge will go into a Little Knight for a double banish on field or grave and then banish again, so that's 3 disruption. We have 2 monster negate to the Apollo USA. We have negate anything with the Desiree, and if used with Masquerena, which would mean we'd negate first with Desiree, then Masquerena link off with Desiree. We could then send a card from the field to the grave. Likely not going to happen. Let's still count it though. So 7 disruption. And then we have Promethean Princess, pop the Flameburge on a special summon. That would be 8 total disruptions, likely going to be 7 though. 8. Senjin, summon from the back row, searching for the Golem on resolution. We're going to Flameburge, reborn the Masquerena right here, right now. Golem put itself in the back row. Masquerena is now ready to go into the Little Knight banish, so the Desiree disruption's gone. Little Knight is now banishing on summon. So we're at 6 disruptions left. Reborn 2 level 1 fires. We're gonna be set up for some follow-up plays now. Got the Divine Temple Way. Normal the Frog, negated by the Apollo. 5 disruption left. Let's link off our field into a Spright Elf. Elf is going to reborn the Swap Frog. Imperm is going to negate. Chain the Spright starter mates. Desiree, non-target, negate the starter. What are these 3 fingers? Promethean, Apollo, Little Knight. That is all that is left. Link Karibo, protect the Apollo from being attacked over by the Spright Elf. Then Karibo, reduce the Elf. We end the turn instead of surrendering. That is surprising. Let's Divine Temple in the back row. From the grave, send to the grave. Doom Dragon, negate the Elf, push the Elf back as we now have 9,000 damage. Taking this into game number 2. Snake Eye Fiendsmith went first. Okay, sure. Going first inherently is an advantage. Let's now see what Spright could do going first if they don't get hit by Maxi or Fuelos, or at least have a way to negate it. Wedge you it up. The Fuelos will be dead. We got the Senjin, can't imperm this search nor stop its summon. Golem into the back row, come forth. Again, cannot imperm to stop. So I'm thinking that we took out the Melfi engine potentially, or maybe this is just one Spright player, but I'm be curious to see, is Melfi the way? No Melfi and more hand traps and or board breakers, or is Fiendsmith? Those are going to be the 3 main ways to play the deck. We're going to start this off with a Wanted Secret in the draw phase, and what are we exactly playing against? We have Masquerena into double Little Knight banish or a Goddess play. We have red negate a monster, carrot negate a spell or trap. And, you know, it's kind of just 4 forms of disruption. It's not that crazy. It's actually 5 if we reborn the Sprint while there's an opposing monster, and then they summon, and then we trigger Sprint to detach off of the Spright to then further bounce a monster back to the hand. 5. The 5th one is a super secret disruption. No one will see it coming. Carrot, negate the effect, and only because on the activation of the card does it actually do something would this be a good negate. It is going to be sent to the graveyard for a Diabolostar now. Diabolostar, set up into the back row. Deception Sinful. We're going to Elf, reborn the Sprint for that secret disruption. We're going to link off with the Carrot for the Little Knight on summon to banish. We're also going to be triggering the sprint with our own summon. It does not have to be on the opponent's summon. If another monster summon, detach from an Xyz, target a monster, return it to the hand as the Little Knight banishes away the Deception Sinful. So triggering the sprint, triggering the Knight. We have red negate a monster effect and Little Knight banish in response to anything activating another monster. Double disrupt, normal Deluri, Requiem negated by red. Could be pretty good. Yeah, that's a great negate. Negate. Now, what do we have here? We just have Little Knight, Chain, Banish. I'm not playing through this, right? What are we doing? Chill, what the heck? Search Engraver, discard Engraver, reborn Engraver, battle over the Little Knights, and then we lose the Little Knight Disruption. Oh, we have our own Lacrima Engrave. There's no way you're playing Fiendsmith in Paradise in this deck also, are you? We just lost the Little Knight. We maybe have another Disruption. Maybe. Probably we don't. We didn't Fiendsmith in Paradise. Okay. Well, it took all of our Disruption to play through that. Ash, negate. And just like that, we now have a triple tactics talent to take control, look at the hand, or we could draw two. What do we choose? We choose to yoink the Engraver. We're gonna Ronin Totem, banish. Onto the field you go, normal the Angler, gigantic Spright with the link. It's gonna get boosted up, mate. Let's hop into game number 3. All right. Divine Temple. We have just Magna Hunt and Valor. I feel like it's so immensely underutilized. The power of Flameburge putting something into the back row, something cooler than a Masquerena, like a Sylvia, a Baron de Fleur, of course, properly summoned that is, to then summon it during the opponent's turn. It's even cooler when you're stealing the opponent's monster, putting it in the back row, and then summoning it. As we now have our negate back. Welcome back to the field. We have negate, 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 and pop mate. We're going to just ash it instead of using the Apollo effect of stopping it from putting itself in the back row. Magna Hut. I think Magna Hut's the reason why Apollo didn't negate this, because Magna Hut would, in the same chain, be added to it, then Apollo would not be able to negate. Ronin Totem. Bro, I'm just, I don't actually have a play. I'm having a good time. I don't know about you. Swing my Ronin Totem and, yep, there you go. Damn. Triple brick. Toad, angler, angler, brick, brick, brick. All right, begin. Deception Sinful. We're gonna activate Dominus Impulse. Negate the Holodazamina. Sure. Luring into the Requiem. We could just speed this up. The Lady Labyrinth is summonable, but when do we actually want to summon her? She's not going to be protected by a set card being on the field, thus she would be targetable by something like a Flameburge, pushing her into the back row. So ideally, we want to wait until the end phase. And also, ideally, they don't have some sort of negate we would not want to be playing right into by summoning it within the end phase. Wow. All right. End phase it up. That impulse was great because what the heck happened? So we are definitely just really thinking about the anti-back row plays here, as we have pretty much just a Masquerena into a Little Knight or a Phoenix play. What really sucks about setting up this Masquerena to pop back row is now the Lady Labyrinth can kill your Masquerena before you take out one of the back row cards. Imperm is not going to be so good in this matchup here. What the heck is going on? Different Dimension Ground has now entered. What? Why? Now he's going to banish a back row. You're supposed to protect your back row. All right, thank you. Now we at least get to banish something. And you got the there could be only one. Oh my Jesus. Well, Let's set this up. You know, maybe we're just excited that the lady was not going. We could have valued the lady more so than one of our back row. And I mean, but there could be only one. I guess, to be fair, they do play a lot of different monster types. Dragon, Fiend, Pyro. That's, maybe it was okay. Let's summon Diablo Star. Diablo Star activates, set into the back row, Original Sinful. Big Welcome Labyrinth. We're gonna activate the lady. Now, ideally, we could either chain link block or maybe use Imperm onto the lady. Lady, while you control set card, is completely untargetable, so we just don't have a way to stop it. Free trap from the deck, not activatable the turn it's set, of course. A Lovely will now be triggering to pop a card in the field. Imperm, negate the Lovely, so you shall not pop me. Sure. Still have different dimension ground. And if you different dimension ground, we have to now read the Original Sinful. Send a card you control to the graveyard, semicolon, meaning that it has to go to the grave. And this only ensures monsters cannot go to the grave. So we have to use the Original Sinful on the Deception. Now, Deception and Original Sinful are kind of similar. They both have a cost to get a card in the grave to use their effect. But if we read Deception, it says tribute a monster from the hand or field. It does not state it has to go to the grave. So we could, if we want to, Deception tribute off the Diablo Star and then use Original Sinful to send the Deception to the graveyard. We are not. We're going to send Deception, summon the Ash. We only have Welcome Labyrinth, which is not going to be going into anything crazy. The big Welcoming Grave is already activated. It's a hard one to return. We're going to special summon the lady, chain the Welcome Labyrinth, sets up the Coup Clock. Coup Clock will make... Why did we set this in the Imperm column? I could have swore that there was nothing in one of these columns, because now the Trap Trick, which would have been activatable through an Ariana... I mean, here's the thing. I don't even know if we're playing Coup Clock in this deck. Maybe we're not. I've not seen it all day. Yeah, someone in the chat saying, you don't think he's even playing the clock? Probably not. We have Snake-Eyed Diablo Star. Now, think about this. Both ladies are untargetable and indestructible by card effects. We can't use Engraver to send them to the grave. We can't even Desiree send them to the grave. Deception is going to be resetting itself into the back row. What the heck did we even end on? What the heck? We could summon Flameburge off of them summoning, but they are a trap deck, so they're probably not summoning. But if they did, Flameburge could then steal the Lovely. Okay. To battle we go. Lady Beatdown. Double 3K untargetable, indestructible cards. No way. We have to Imperm this, right? That's not Imperm though. Where's our, wait, we already used Imperm and holy shite, we got nothing, mate. Dragonized Prison, Simultaneous Equation Cannon, Typhon. So the Flameburst cannot even activate. Even if sent to the graveyard, Typhon turns it off. Oh my Jesus, we got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 with the level 8. How do we do that, mate? Do the math. 11, 5, 5, 1, that's no good. 6, 6 does not work. 4, 4, and a 3, 7. That just does not work. What do you mean 7, 3, 1? You just making stuff up? Get the heck out of here. A 3, 3, and a 5, is that the correct math, right? Yeah, 3, 3, 5. A lot of you are just immensely wrong. What are you doing? 3, 3, 5 works. 4, 4, 3 does not work. It does not work. 3, 3, 5 is the way. Everything else you said was not. Manish, the field. Original Sinful, search the deck, but we can't search for the Ash. We have a Poplar Engrave. Normal summon the Crimson Tear. We had a Poplar banished. Dragonized Prison. Grab a Fiend. Banish the Fiend. And banish your Fiend. Both of your Fiendsmith cards have now been banished. Okay. Oh my God. 2 Solemn Strikes. If they attempt to inherently summon, we negate. Or if they activate a monster effect, we negate. Well. We are going straight into normal summon Lurie, into Requiem, jumping off the field to summon from the deck. Our Lacrima Crimson Tears, send Engraver here. Reborn the Engraver to come forth and summon onto the field. As we are now going to link both bodies up into our Fiendsmith sequence. A great use for the Impermanence. If we wanted to stop the summon of Lacrima, but we allow it to go through, we have Imperm for other plans here. As the Lacrima Reborn's Engraver, as we now turn it into a Masquerena. Wow, I mean, we're keeping things really minimal. We could Imperm the draw phase to turn off the Masquerena, surely. And, you know, the problem is our deck is built to play against real decks. This is a fake deck. This is not real, but all my cheeses. Imperm in the draw phase. This time there could be only one is not going to get banished away. Special summon Lady, turn it into a Typhon. Lady has to be summoned in defense here. Wipe away that Masquerena as we now safely set our triple back row. First, we want to spin away that sequence, get the hail out of here. Now, what terms of disruption we have here? We could summon Lovely, return back Typhon to then pop a card in the field. We could use Daruma to flip the entire opposing field face down and send any Link monsters to the graveyard. And then we could also lock them up with this, where they can't have more than one Pyro, more than one Dragon, more than one Fiend. You can't turn a Fiend into a Fiend. So, triple disrupt. Engraver, return back Lacrima. And this is when you flip it. You flip it before they could make a Requiem, because now it would then be illegal to make a Requiem. Perfect. Can't make a Requiem. Can't do anything because I flip your field face down. All right. End phase. Lovely from the hand. Return back the Typhon to non-target, pop a card on the field or the hand. Say goodbye to Nibiru. With no Veiler to stop the Lovely from recycling endlessly whatever normal trap we want every single turn, we now have Daruma back on the field. We know the Engraver can't turn itself into a Requiem. Engraver can't be even equipped with Requiem, because how do we get the Requiem even engrave? This is a big problem. Link Karibo and Engraver. What is Little Knight? Little Knight is a warrior. It does work. We could Daruma on the flip of Engraver to stop a Little Knight play. Or we could just Big Welcome. Big Welcome, get you out of here. Trigger the Lovely, pop a card from the hand. Wow, triple Tactics talent was about to be activatable. That is something. We're gonna kill our Engraver. Yeah, Morpho, I'm sorry, man. You know, that's just how it be. Remember, Lovely is again going to recycle a trap from the graveyard. We have Imperm back on the field. Impulse, Daruma, Imperm. Yo, what are you doing, Ash? You will not be turning the grand finale into a mockery. What is this? Floodgates win. Okay, nice. You all, it's your fault for this. You all wished for Blue Eyes to get hit. Drill Beam's going down in usage. With less Drill Beam, more Floodgates. So all you did was stop Floodgates for a good 2 months, and now they're back. Meta Weekly with the new pack release day. What is looking good? Blue Eyes with the new pack. What the heck is Crystron clapping up Fiendsmith Control? Well, can Fiendsmith control a Crystron deck when they don't have light and dark monsters to be banishing? Is that all we really needed? Was a competent non-light or dark deck to do well, and then they're just sitting there with the Bystials not knowing what to do? All right, let's check out Branded. Pesh to the banana, 45 cards, got the double Branded Fusion up in here. What the heck are you playing? Cyber Dragon Monster plus Monster in the extra Monster Zone? Is this correct? Is this a deck list error? What the, I don't, Cyber Dragon, double check on that, Gianna, because I don't know what the heck this is supposed to be. Does that make sense, chat, or what? I don't think so. So thank you, Pesh to the banana. And then we have Evil Heroes. Grand Magus, 50 cards. There is the main deck. Here is the extra. Looking good. Okay. What else do we have? Dragon Link. Honda powered with this craziness. Good job, Honda powered. Dragooney Dragon Link. Here is the extra deck. Very cool. And then we have White Forest Azamina. Sir Costanza. 40 cards. White Forest. We got the Moran, which could definitely help out when you're getting a Max Seed or Fool Lost. And then there's the extra deck. All right. White Forest going to have some great new support soon. Ryu-Ge. Yes. This is what I decided to put in my build was a mono. Because the deck could fold to a hand trap stop in the field spell, especially if you don't have the Anva to help protect your field spell go through. So if you have, and also if you play Dominus Impulse with a mono and you activate Impulse in the hand, a mono stays in the field forever, just like an Inspector Border. So very good. Where TCG or OCG, I should say, they're playing triple Inspector Border in the build. Unfortunately, limited to one for us. Well, I should say fortunately, because the Floodgate Stunners are enjoying that card, which is not cool. There's the extra deck. All right. And then we have Spright. Top 4 Spright, 55 cards. Millennium Fiendsmith. Oh my Jesus. Craziness. There is the extra deck. Double Gigantic, double Elf. Banned on the TCG and OCG. And what else do we have here? We have Crystron. Kid Art. 41 cards are playing the Binny engine. Terror Top into Binny, which will send the Smyger from the deck, or if you already have a play, you go into the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, which we saw today. Outplay of Max C, which was great. That won the game. Going into the Gossip Shadow before the Max C resolved, holy moly. And then Ricky. We are playing the Millennium Engine up in here, which is going to be great with the Zombie Vampire. If you already have a play, you instead go into Photon Lord. So really good that the opening play options also give you backup for protection when you already have your play. And what else we have here? Memento. Big Tiger of Vice. What? You are main decking Diabels, the original Sin Keeper. And you also have a Fractured Dance in your deck, which is quite interesting. Then, what the heck? Starring Knight, 2 level 4s, detach special summon a light monster from your hand? You what? Okay. Nice. What else we have? Neo Hawkeye. 41 cards, anything out of the ordinary, nothing too crazy. Both Mad Lads are not, wait, you are playing Fiendsmith. I was gonna say both, wait, you are not playing Fiendsmith. You have Sequence? But you don't have the other Fiendsmith engine cards. You're just teching in the Sequence. Okay, sure. So both non-playing Fiendsmith. And I talked about the differences of hand trap resilience and losing to Maxi or Fool Loss on why you'd want to play either. Nice. And then we have Snake Eye Fiendsmith. Morpho with a standard version. We got the Kashtira up in here, sure. Here's the extra deck. And then we have Fireman. 43. But you are the same dude that first turn killed last week or the week before, but in game, I think you're naming yourself Kang. Good job, Fireman, with the first turn kill, Blaze Phoenix. Dear God, do I hope this never takes off. And then Blue Eyes. I think it took a while for people. We had 2 weeks of tournaments of people trying out other decks and thinking that the Sage and Maiden hit was not good for the deck, or, you know, to play other decks possibly instead. But what happened is people came back. They're back on Blue Eyes and they did incredibly well. Piri Reese map is the 1 Sage, the 1 Maiden, the 3rd copy of each. So very easily replaced. No Kaiser Seahorse for replacement. There's the extra deck. And then Hakumo, 40 cards. We got 1 Piri Reese map for the replacement, missing the 3rd Sage or Maiden. Look at this nice little compact, tiny deck. Nice. And then what else we have? Tupac, 45. We're playing with Tenpai. Tenpai is the way. Well done. 45 cards and what? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Tenpais plus the Kaimin and the Sengen Summoning. I want to be trying something like this. That should be fun. There's the extra deck if you want to be Tenpaiing it up. The Transcendent and the Bident Dragon. Let's scroll back on up. Let's see what the tier list is looking like after that. We have, you know, pretty much looking the same. Punk went down a little bit. Mermail branded. So Mermail was almost tier 2, but it dropped. Sprite's Rising. Memento is almost there. Barely going to be tier 2 soon, possibly. It does well in other events. And, you know, we are going to be hoping for a meta shakeup soon. I think Crystron will be at tier 3 soon. And then it, you know, maybe should just be solidified there, just chilling there every week back to back. I'm not sure if Crystron's good enough to reach tier 2 along the likes of a deck like Blue Eyes. Even though we did see Crystron and Blue Eyes play today, and Crystron claps them up quite amazingly well. So, there you go. That is the event. And I'm going to be streaming on the very next Sunday. So in a few days, we have the Sunday tournament, and we should be having leaks on that day. Potentially, we'll be leaking again. All right? Thank you very much. Let's go.